busy week in terms of contract extensions. Let's talk about the ones for yourself and the coaching staff. How delighted are you to get that done?
Yeah, I'm obviously delighted talking about myself, as I always am. No, for the rest of the staff, for everybody involved, it's great. It's a brilliant. When you think about how the seasons went, for where we were to where we are now, the amount of hard work that's went into it. I'm so grateful for all the support I've had from all the staff, and obviously my immediate staff. Of course, the players are the ones that go over the white line and manage to get you into this position, and I'm very grateful for it. I'm delighted that I've extended my contract, and it's a brilliant place to be.
And in terms of getting Jack and Lewis as well sorted out, it's more continuity, and guys have really performed for you.
Yeah, very much fully deserved, as you've already said. I know I've said for a number of weeks now about you're always being asked about players coming towards the end of their contract and contract extensions and negotiations that go on, and I've said the same line for a while. There's conversations happening all the time, and there really is, but naturally these things take a bit of time. It needs to be right for everybody involved, so and I'm delighted that we're able to get a few over the line, and keeping this group together as much as we can. We all fully deserve the rewards they've been getting, and it's a reflection on how good the group's been. I'm sure all the individuals that have extended their stay or new deals are very grateful for their teammates as well, because it has very much been a collective effort this season, and I still believe this group's got a long way to go and a lot of improving still to be done, which is brilliant.
What are the advantages to getting things like this done early, or certainly before the end of the season, and in terms of your look ahead to the summer and how you plan to go into the next campaign?
Yeah, it's great to have a bit of clarity as a player going into it, knowing exactly where you're going to be next season, having no real doubt when you go on the pitch about the future, and uncertainty within that can only help with performances and things like that, so that's brilliant. Myself, from a planning point of view and what we've got next season, and I was just always looking to evolve the squad and try and improve the squad, but sometimes the best thing to do is try and keep it together and just add to it in areas where you think you need to strengthen, or that's natural every single time the window opens. So the earlier you can do your work, the better for everybody involved, and I think that allows you to really focus on certain areas, but also really appreciate what you've already got here as well.
In terms of this weekend and the size of the game that's coming in this race for third place, I suppose Aberdeen in a position that you guys were in for a long time, where they're looking to catch the team in front of the ones who are maybe coming up in confidence at the moment as well.
Yeah, I think when you look at that, even the way the fixtures have fell, it's going to be really exciting. I know I said after the game that there's 5 cup finals to go, and there certainly is everything to play for. The form table tells you that as well. Ourselves, Aberdeen, Dundee United, St Mirren as well, coming into form at the right time of the season. So, as I've said for a number of weeks, once we got into this position and being in third, could we get as many points as we can going into the split? I'm delighted with the position we've put ourselves in, but that's all it is at this moment in time. It is just a position and a starting point, and we can only focus on what we're doing and take one game at a time. It's what we've done all season. We're not changing from that, but if we keep winning games of football, nobody can catch us, and that is the mindset we're going into. It's going to be a real difficult game. It always is going up there. A real exciting one, which is why I think it's been put as one of the first ones straight away, first game after the split. And it's one that, as a neutral, everyone will be looking forward to it, and myself and the players have really felt it this week in training. It's a real it's excitement looking towards the future of the game.
That cup final mentality almost inbuilt into them now after this 4 or 5 months that they've got.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Determined to keep the run going as well. When you think back to the run we've been on, the hard work and the effort that's went into it, but the level of consistent performance, that's been the big thing, and that doesn't happen by accident. It happens every single day on the training pitch. It happens when you get an injury and someone else is ready to come in and step in and doing it, and that togetherness that's been building all season, which again is why it's brilliant to keep the group together and really strengthen it and keep improving the players. And I think the big thing within that group of players we've got at the minute, clearly we've got good individuals, we've got good football players, we've got brilliant characters, brilliant professionals every single day that drive the standard and the culture that we're trying to set as coaches and staff every single day as well. So it is all going in the right direction, but like I've said for a number of weeks now, it's a position we've put ourselves in. We've demonstrated how quickly it can turn in a positive way, but we need to make sure we see it through now and really push on between now and the end of the season.
So the team effort and the cohesion has been a massive part of this kind of 17-game run, but were you surprised not to see any of the individuals in the team of the year, PFA team of the year?
I think that's all part of it. Everyone has their own opinions. That's why everybody loves this game. Everyone's got their own opinions. I think if you ask me my opinion, there'd be more of my players in it, because I see them every single day, and I'm sure every other manager will say exactly the same thing. But that's no disrespect to the players that get into the team of the year. They're voted for by their fellow players and peers. So I think that's why you do these things. It's a fantastic achievement to be able to get into that. But one thing I would say is what we've demonstrated is there's no real egos in that dressing room. They're all really hard working, really honest group of players that are improving all the time and going about the business in the right way. And if we keep doing that, we can be successful.
How do you see the next few years in an ideal? I know it's hard in football, you don't know where you're going to be from one to the next almost, but how, in an ideal scenario, where would you see Hibs in 2 or 3 years if you're still here?
That's far too far for me, Tony. I'm thinking about nothing but Aberdeen at the weekend, and once we get past that one, I'll move on to Dundee United. So no, I think you always look at what I've always believed this football club can be, and it always needs to challenge at the top end of the table. European football, all the things that come with it because of the size of the club, the finances that go with it, and the support that's been put into it, the stadium, the infrastructure, the training ground, everything moving in the right direction. And as I've said, since I joined the club, it's such a big club. The football side was the one that needed to be more consistent, and that's my job to try and deliver that consistently. And I think that would be the challenge to myself and my staff, to keep improving the players, to make sure this team keeps improving all the time, because it's going to be difficult. We've seen how difficult it is this season already, and I don't expect it to get any easier moving forward. Everyone's in the same position, and it's such a competitive league. You look at this season, right from top to bottom, how competitive it is, and that's not going to change in years to come. So we need to keep improving and keep pushing forward.
On a personal level, when you got this contract offer, how satisfying, how much vindication did you take almost that you've almost come through your first season as a manager, the team's in a good place and now the club want you to stay long term?
That's obviously brilliant to get that recognition, and I think, as I've already said, it doesn't happen by accident. It comes from sticking to your beliefs and being true to yourself and sticking together during that difficult time. And I think as a group of players, a staff, myself, especially myself, I learnt a lot about myself earlier in the season this year. First year in management, everything that comes with it, and challenges that come with that, and there's still loads to improvement and learning to be done from my point of view, of course, learning all the time, trying to improve all the time, and delighted with where we are at this moment in time. And when the club come forward and look to try and think about the future, it's always nice to get that. But as I say, I'm very grateful and respectful to all the hard work from every single person in this building that's managed to move the club forward, and that's the most important thing, that we deliver on the pitch. And if we can all deliver on the pitch, then the club can move forward, and that's our job.
In terms of this battle for third, I think Hibs have only finished third 3 times in the 21st century. Maybe this will be the first time since Jack Ross's team 4 years ago. How big an incentive is that now that you're so close?
I think it is. It's a huge incentive, but it also shows you how hard it is to do it. It shows you the teams around about us, the form table at the minute, us ourselves, Dundee United, right up there with a good run of form at the right time of the season, which is going to make it interesting with all the games to go. But like I've already said, we're just concentrating on ourselves, try to take it one game at a time, and really focusing on just that next game as much as we can. And I think that's really worked well for us this season. And if we can continue to do that and continue to move forward, then it can be a very, very successful season.
How's the squad looking in terms of injuries?
Injury-wise, so the sort of longer tail, Joe Newell's obviously out for the season, so he's not back. The 2 slightly longer ones that have been out for a wee while, Ellie and Quan, are getting closer, but won't be available this weekend. But apart from that, we're all had a good little rest at the start of the week and been working really hard now towards this game. And as I've already said, it's a brilliant. Everybody's fit and ready to go and wanting to be playing at this stage of the season with everything to play for. So these are the games that, as players, everyone's desperate to be involved in.
You've had the edge over Aberdeen this season. What's been the key to that?
Let's see, you've had the edge over them. I think they've been really tight games. They've been good games. They always are difficult games. 2, I believe, very good sides that both believe they'll go into the game trying to win the game as well. They're going into the game trying to win the game. So it'll be an interesting game, probably quite open as well. There'll always been goals within the games. They're very well coached, so we expect it to be a real difficult game. But our focus is on obviously trying to look at the games you've played previously, learn and try and evolve all the time, areas in which we can improve, and they'll be doing exactly the same for their point of view as well. So it's a real interesting one, and I'm sure, as I've already said, for the neutrals' point of view, a good one to watch.
It's not been a completely smooth season. Were you always confident that you'd get kept on?
I'd love to say, aye, of course I knew it was always going to happen. Never in doubt. No, I think I've had, obviously sat here, it just shows you how this game works, and you know that when you sign up to taking this job, or any job in football within that it's all results driven, and you know that. start of the season I was very, very clear in knowing that we were underachieving, but I always believed in the group, and I've said it many times that I never ever once stopped believing that we could turn it round. Even during the difficult times, and I think I tried to stay as consistent as I could and believe in that. And I always felt it from the players. I never felt once that they stopped running for me. I never felt once that they weren't, desperate to turn it round. But I also seen the level of performance that I believed if we kept producing that level of performance, that the probability tells you that as well, that it was going to turn, it was always going to do that. And then with a bit of confidence comes momentum, and everything that comes, the players then start to react to things a bit quicker. Once you know what it's like when you feel really good about yourself, you start to perform at a higher level, and things start to go for you as well. So I think it's been a real positive season up until this point. We've had to go through adversity at the start to get to it, but I really think that's been the making of the squad as well. We've learned a lot about ourselves.
And are the next 3 years going to be more of the same from a management and coaching point of view?
I'm sure there'll be ups and downs, that's for sure. That's always part of that. The biggest thing is always to try and take the club forward. Always want to try and improve. My job is to improve the players every day, and I'd like to. It's the same with my staff. Can we make the players better all the time? Can we keep getting results and keep taking the club forward, because it deserves to be at that end. The support we've had this season, sticking with us during that difficult time, and ever since I've been at the football club's been incredible. And everything, as I've already touched on, is geared up to be a really successful club, and it's my job to make sure we keep doing that consistently.